Shut up and sit down. Hello and welcome to the NerdDum channel's Levels of Ridiculousness podcast. I'm joined by DK.
Hey guys, how you doing, my nerdians?
And this is what is going to amount to an in-between episode. We did an alpha episode and a beta episode, episode 0 and episode 1, which we're sort of considering our pilot episodes for the podcast. But as of right now, the channel and Levels of Ridiculousness in particular are undergoing, let's call it an overhaul.
A metamorphosis, and we're also going to get better equipment in a couple weeks.
Hopefully.
In about a month. Shouldn't take longer than that. I'm going to get a well-used by many YouTubers and podcast show hosts and whatnot.
The camera?
No, the Blue Yeti microphone.
Oh, the mic, right, the mic.
The USB microphone, that's... I've seen tests with that. I also have audio software that I can use to alter where it has better audio, so the audio will improve just doing this.
Right. So, while the show and the channel... while our ship, which is totally not the Enterprise, is undergoing its retrofit...
Oh god.
We actually did not put out an episode of Levels of Ridiculousness last week because of these changes, but
we couldn't go 2 weeks without it.
Yeah, we decided that we, despite the changes that we are currently instituting, we wanted to put out at least something for you guys this week, while we are still trying to figure out the structure for the show.
It's going to be a bit shorter.
Yeah, it could run a little shorter.
Or we could get caught up in talking.
Yeah, that could totally happen. We started the episode with the intention of it being shorter.
Probably not going to happen, but...
Probably not going to happen, but it could entirely run an hour. So, our topic this week is going to be...
Anime.
Yes.
Corey in the house! Sorry, had to. Come on. My name is... My birth name is Corey.
Yes, DK's...
Spelt the same.
DK's real name is Corey, and he identifies with a little black boy that had his own TV show.
No, I don't. I do not. First of all, this is anime, and there's a meme. If you have not seen it.
I totally, DK, you got me wanting to say your real name. DK came back to our Saturday Dungeons & Dragons game.
As a player.
After having to stop playing with us for an extended period of time.
Gotta love work.
Yeah. Money. But when I really wanted to send out a group email with the opening song to that show, which I didn't know existed until I saw the meme. But I wanted to send out a group email of, hey, guess what, everybody, Corey's coming back, and just have that opening to the show attached as a video. I couldn't find a download where I could download it, but I wanted to do that so badly, and as
should have left a link to a YouTube video episode of it.
Pilot episode. That is what I was wanting to do, but I didn't have the balls to do it.
What's new?
Missed opportunities.
Okay, so...
But yes, our topic this week is going to be...
The
animes. Yes, we are each going to select an anime to talk about and have an in-depth conversation about it. And I believe DK wants to go first.
Aesthetic of a rogue hero.
Start at the bottom of the barrel, people.
Not the bottom of the barrel, bottom of the piss bucket.
Yeah, bottom. All right, yes, I agree with that. I'll agree with that. Bottom of the piss bucket.
This is a good anime to me. It's interesting, I should say.
I believe it's also it's Aesthetica.
Aesthetica.
Aesthetica of a Rogue Hero.
Yeah, I know him by the Japanese names. Granted, I own it on DVD and it's in English.
Well, so do I. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, you're the one that
I impulse
got it for me.
I had such an anime craving that when I was in Best Buy one week and found it for $15, I was like, yeah, all right.
DK would buy that from me.
And I picked it up and it was great. And I lent it to DK. No, I didn't lend it to you. You had seen it already, and then you found out that I had it on DVD.
I told you,
and you wanted to borrow it
months before that I wanted it because I loved it. I like that type of rogue hero type.
Oh,
main
that's
guy.
right.
So you were looking for it, and you bought it for me.
I had my own copy.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude,
if you find it, buy it, and
You wanted me to sell you my copy, and I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, I actually like it.
Yeah.
And I found it for sale, and I just picked it up for you. It was cheap.
And I bought it off of you. But Aesthetica Rogue Hero, it's I'm not going to spoil the plot too much. Basically, everybody in the world had this occurrence happen where some people got transported to fantasy worlds.
Yeah.
And after they finish their mission, defeat the Demon King, save the nation, multiple things, they are allowed to come back through world portals, where the main guy smuggles the Demon Lord's daughter with him.
I get the feeling in that universe, everyone is truly... It really places emphasis on everyone is the heroes of their own story.
Yes.
Where... basically the standard anime thing of people get transplanted to these fantasy lands, become heroes, save the world, and then come home. What happens to these kids after they come home? I like that a lot because a lot of anime are like that. So it almost implies like all of these anime where people are ending up going to different worlds. Maybe they're all happening in the same world.
Exactly.
What happens when they come home? They all have to still go to school. They probably still all have their powers.
And that's a conspiracy theory right there.
That's
because
great.
You could have them all going to the same one.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it a conspiracy theory. I think it's the premise of the show, and it's a fun premise.
Yeah, everybody's a hero. So there's no I'm the main character. Everyone's the main character of their own.
Although I think
they picked one.
I used the word hero to describe the main character.
He's a rogue hero.
Lightly, yes, and that is the premise.
We're talking about a guy that channels chi, pokes two girls in the stomach, and makes them pee to not embarrass the third chick.
I emphasize again, people bottom of the barrel.
But there's also other cool things like he can't use magic at all. But he can use these bracelets, but he has to use like 10 times what everybody else has to do to materialize this Goliath sword and axe. It's like there's a sword version and a kaposh version. If you don't know what a kaposh is, think of a sword that is also an axe.
I remember when he jacked everybody's bracelets. Like,
yes.
I'll give them back later, and they never did.
Later, at the end of it, he gets that really strong one where he only needs that one bracelet. But there's no season 2, which there should have been.
There should be. I think a season 2 of that show would be very interesting because I didn't get enough of my golden chain boy.
Yeah, there wasn't a setup. It was a setup for season 2, but there wasn't a season 2. Mm-hmm. And the sad thing is that it was a company that is notorious for not having second seasons, but setting them up.
I would like to take a moment to address the fact that yes, Aesthetica of a Rogue Hero is heavily ecchi.
Very fan service.
In its nature. It's one of the anime that, under normal circumstances, you should probably feel bad about talking about. That being said, I still enjoyed it thoroughly.
Don't watch it with your family be able to come in your room.
God, no.
Or with your family. I've seen cringeworthy posts on Facebook saying, I'm going to go watch this with my parents. They really like anime, too. It's like, yeah, this is going to get really awkward.
Here's an awesome recommendation. Go watch Boku no Pico.
Oh, God, dude. No. Or School Days.
Go watch School Days, yes. Those are the standing jokes of, hey, if you haven't seen an anime, this is the best one I've ever seen. Go watch this.
It's always School Days or Baku no Pico.
People are trolling, and it's terrible.
It's beautifully terrible.
It's I'm not sure I can get behind that. If someone's never gotten into anime before and you're giving them recommendations,
Don't mess with them.
yeah, no, just don't.
My first anime was Guyver. No one ever has ever heard of Guyver.
Which Guyver?
Guyver,
The original? Or
the original, not bio boosted armor. So on Guyver, that heavily separated
the nasty
from
one.
They're both nasty with blood and gore.
I saw the first episode of that. It was terrible.
The first episode of the original, it was basically the same of the first of bio boosting armor. The one came out in 2006. The one that came out in 1994, I'd like to say.
There's a whole opening where there's a truck, and like
the guy's melting.
Yeah, it's
that's in the 2006 version.
It's gross.
It's played down. It's much more gory.
Yeah.
It's also the 2006 version is 26 episodes long, and it was going to continue. The manga's still continuing, and there's been rumors constantly about a second season of Guyver, the Bio Boost Armor, because it's a really good arc. Because I'm up to date with the Guyver.
I have seen Guyver. DK introduced me to the newer show. What year did that one come out?
The newer one's 2006. The one that came that I watched first that was really nasty. So nasty that there was an episode where they got a Zoanoid and they mutated the individual in human form to look just like Mitsuki, the girl.
PG-13.
It is PG-13.
Well,
to look, no, this part is to look exactly like Mitsuki and sound like Mitsuki, which is his love interest, the girl he's deathly in love with, and ties him up with her. When he bio boosts 3 feet in every direction, if he's something's around him, I think it's even greater actually, is disintegrate.
Yes.
Because when he bio boosts, the armor comes out from a different dimension, and it basically phase shifts everything. It shifts it to the other dimension. So there's just this crater when he transforms. Well, he finds out that it's a Zoanoid because Tetsuro, her brother, runs up with her. And he says, "Show now!" He sees that, looks at her, and you could just look at the "oh crap" look on the Zoanoid. And he yells Guyver, and then in slow motion we see this guy get vaporized. That looks just like his love interest.
That's not traumatizing at all.
Also, the really cool thing I wish they would have added to the 2006 version is he could run at 70 miles per hour.
Yeah. Well,
Every time he took a step, the ground burned. He was that quick.
I love how the Guyver series has very, very established science behind it.
Yes.
It is all very, like you said just a second ago, it's like 5 feet all around him.
Yeah.
That always happens.
Always happens.
When he turns into the Guyver.
It's very canon.
Like I said, I've seen the 2006 Guyver series, thanks to DTA.
Oh, it's my hands down favorite anime.
But that is a show. It doesn't need a season 2. It needs a hard reboot, in my opinion. Guyver needs to start from scratch and just have a show dedicated to it. And I'm not sure why they haven't done it.
No, well, the reason why I say we need a season 2 is because Guyver, the 2006 version, came directly from the manga. It picks up and more is explained as it goes on. It's supposed to leave the way it was.
Yeah. I'm not saying...
Murakami's supposed to look like he got blown up in the relic exploding, which is the spaceship.
My point...
But he didn't.
My point is that the animation is out of date.
It's very out of date. It came out in 2006. It's 2017. Yes. But they would do better animation.
That's what I'm saying. Is that Guyver has all of these really, high concept sci-fi mechanisms going
You
on.
could do so
in it.
much better now.
The animation that they have right now, like a perfect example is Fate Stay Night, which I'm a big fan of. And you compare the original Fate Stay Night series with Unlimited Blade Works, it is a stark contrast.
Night and day.
And it's beautiful. Unlimited Blade Works is beautiful. And I would love to see a Guyverse reboot where they place that emphasis on the art.
I would love that too, but I don't think they should reboot. Because then it would be just the same story rehashed with graphics.
True. It's been done.
I know.
It's been done many times.
Save that money, put more investment in the story later. You get what I mean?
The immediate series that comes to my mind is what we're talking about right now is specifically the anime that I was going to talk about, which is Kanon, where it had I believe it was a 2003 series, and that series played out to its completion, and then they did it again. And it needed to be done again because the animation was terrible for Kanon.
Such big eyes, so wide apart.
Their mouths were where their noses should be.
the derp anime face meme everywhere. It was
a meme, yes. It's Kanon 2003 and then 2005, I think.
2 years made a bit of a difference.
For those who aren't aware, Kanon is a sister show to Clanad and Air, which some people are...
Don't even get started on Air. No one's going to even understand it. The people that made Air don't understand it.
That was my running joke for a very long time, was I would run around ranting about how Air made no sense. And nobody knew I was talking about an anime the way I was saying it, so it's like, what is he talking about?
Does he not understand how oxygen works?
Yes, exactly. Well, that was the joke I was trying to push. Was I'm sitting here ranting about oxygen, and nobody gets that I'm talking about a show.
The thing is that with Air, you don't understand. You watch it episode 1 to 16 or 16 to 1. It makes the same amount of sense.
Do you know that there are 2 OVAs in a movie?
Yeah.
For Air, there's 2 OVAs and a movie.
Who was watching it that understood?
Wait, let me make this clear. Air, it's got a very good opening from what I remember, but Air stops. The story stops halfway through, and you jump back in time to a completely different story. It is apparently related to the original story. There's a lot of high concepts in Air related to reincarnation, and the fact that when you reincarnate, you can exist in multiple places at once. Like, I could be a dog in Florida, I could be a flower down the street, I could be a child 2 states over.
Oh, the voices in my head.
And I could be me right now, all simultaneously, because when you die, and that concept is also touched on a little bit in Angel Beats, where time really doesn't matter in the afterlife.
Yeah.
And that is a consistent idea that is prolific in Japanese and Asian religions.
And tell me that Angel Beats ending was not freaking perfect.
The Angel Beats, it depends on the ending.
I like the ending. The one I love the most is the one where she leaves her. It leaves him. Angel leaves him.
Yeah.
And then
that's in all the endings.
Then he cries, but then you see him walking down a street in Tokyo.
Yes.
And he walks by her, and she's humming.
Yeah.
And
Girls Dead Monster
she
song.
starts walking around. Yes.
I think she's humming my song.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he turns around, and right before he touches her shoulder,
cut.
Scene.
See, that is the ending that a lot of people prefer, but there are conflicting endings, which I don't feel are conflicting for Angel Beats. There's the ending where he stays behind. After she leaves, he stays there for like 1,000 years or something, and acts as
It's not conflicting because the reincarnation.
Yes, that's what I'm getting to, is that it was like, oh no, but you have to think about it. He died before she died.
And she was there before him.
And she was in purgatory before he got there.
Yep.
She had his heart, apparently.
Yep. He gave her heart for him.
So time has no meaning. So
he
could
gave
have,
her. I said that completely wrong.
He could have been in purgatory for 1,000 years as the what would you call it? He basically provides
President.
He provides the role of senpai.
Yeah.
And the
council president, I'd say.
Well, like the what's the word for it?
Counselor.
Sort of. He is the
director.
Stop.
Scene. Cut.
Anyway, he's the chaperone. That's the word I was looking for. He's the chaperone for all of these lost souls, and he's there for as long as he needs to be. And then he reincarnates, and he still gets to be with her because time doesn't matter.
And one of my favorite sayings is, if you want a happy ending, but of course it depends on where you stop the story.
Yeah.
Wells. I say his first name always wrong.
It's Orson.
Orson Welles. That is my man.
Yeah.
He has such great quotes, and that is my quote. I quote it all the time. You know that.
Yes.
I'm annoying you.
They're not annoying me. I just
You've heard it so many times.
You attribute it to Baccano. I almost disagree with that being attributed to Baccano.
It's not contributed to Baccano.
Baccano is also an extraordinary short series that doesn't get enough attention in my book.
In the last season, the last episode of Baccano, he talks about his philosophies on storytelling.
Yeah,
and that's where I took that. That's why that's my input on what he was saying.
Yeah,
but it's not what he was saying.
It's not what he was saying. I believe his line verbatim was, "Wouldn't it be better to imagine?"
Yes.
It's the idea of when a story ends, and it's the reason why I collect movies like, what's a good example? Jumper.
Yes.
The Covenant. Push. Movies that were made with the intention of having sequels.
But didn't.
But never got sequels.
Then you can imagine it.
Frankly, if the first Twilight movie, and we hate Twilight at NerdDum.
Oh my god, the CGI baby.
We have a story about the fourth Twilight movie that we will tell on this channel, but suffice to say, we are not fans of Twilight in any way at NerdDum. That being said, if the first Twilight movie never received a sequel, it would be in my collection.
I'd still burn you for that.
There's that movie about the Nephilim. What was it called? City of Bones?
Yeah, it's a City of Bones.
Dude's name is Janus. Mortal Instruments. Right. That movie has yet to receive a sequel.
It's not going to get one. It box office bombed.
That does not surprise me. I'm thinking about adding it to my collection.
It was a good movie. I went and saw it in the dollar movie.
Because I went to see it with you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what?
I'm sorry, guys. I worked a 12-hour shift. I've been up for more than 18, 19 hours at this point.
It's late.
I'm exhausted.
DK's tired. I'm very sick. So, neither of us are up to par. But we did want to record something for you. But yeah, we went to see it at the dollar movie together, and we saw it twice.
Oh, wow, we did.
We saw it twice. It's like, but because it hasn't received a sequel, because it's standalone enough, I would consider adding that to my collection. Because isn't it better to have an ending that isn't
definite?
I like open-ended stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of anime does that. It's one of the reasons why I can watch anime. Don't get me wrong, it frustrates me a lot. Anime like the first one that comes to mind, because it was where I really realized this was happening, was Corpse Princess.
Oh, God.
Where the anime just fucking stopped.
And it's like, we're done here.
The show stops. In the middle of the climax, the show stops. There's no movie. There's no follow-up OVA.
No OVAs.
There's nothing. It just stops.
It's like, we're done. We ran out of budget.
It's one of the most abrupt endings to an anime I have ever seen.
And they just stopped production on it after the reason.
They did. You can tell because the endings,
there should have been continued.
The endings had characters that hadn't appeared in the show yet.
Yeah.
Al.
Yeah, my wrist
That
popped if you heard that.
I think that showed
It
up.
registered.
Showed up on the SoundCloud. But back to air, because we just went on a very long tangent about what it means.
No, we're going to talk about my quote. Orson Welles. Well, it's about to be done. I got it from White Collar. They were talking. They said that in a couple episodes, and that is where I got that saying from.
White Collar, Blue Collar?
White Collar, the show.
Sure, it's not Blue Collar.
It's White Collar.
Okay, I haven't seen it.
Blue? You know, I mean, guessing it could be Blue Collar. But
Blue Bloods?
No, it's White Collar. It is White Collar. It's irrelevant, but that's where I got the quote. Continue, you madman. Evil, vindictive.
I love that quote though, because frankly, I've seen a lot of shows that bomb. You get to a certain point, and I feel like, in the anime community, a lot of people like to write fanfics.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people like to write fan stories. And when you do that, you have such a love for a show that you want it to end better than it did. I myself have done that with Gundam Seed Destiny because
I just don't acknowledge Destiny.
You don't acknowledge Destiny. I acknowledge Destiny because Destiny has so much potential at the beginning of that show and is such a great show.
Halfway through.
Through a little over halfway, about 3/4 of that show is great, and it falls apart at the end. So much so that they had to release the final episode again to try and appease fans. Not to mention the compilation movies, which apparently did it better. But that being said, we were talking about Air. Back to Air, because fuck that we'll edit that out. Make a note of the time. My rage just came through while we are a little bit of an update. We're going to try and be a little bit more family friendly here at NerdDum from now on, which means no cussing, no curse words.
Which is hard.
It's not as hard as you think, but my nerd rage came out hard just now.
Yeah, you're shaking.
So Air. It's such a.
I thought we were talking about Kanan.
Such a soothing name. Air. No, screw Kanan. I'm talking about Air right now.
Okay.
This is my time. Air had 2 OVAs and a compilation movie, all of which came in the $15 box set with the show.
Forget that.
But Air stops halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
Goes back in time 1,000 years.
Because screw your facts. Screw your feelings.
Follows the show for about 3 episodes, I think, with people we don't know. With no one we've ever met before.
You know these days? Oh, you don't? Well, too bad.
Tough. We follow this story about a human avian hybrid, like something out of Maximum Ride.
Bird person.
She's a bird person, well, she's an angel person.
Rick and Morty, bird person.
But we follow these people, and then we cut back to the present.
Humans!
And we continue the story.
Like none of it happened.
No, we rewatch the story from the main character's perspective, but the main character has become a bird.
So things change.
The bird is there. Like it's just let's rewatch the first half of the show before we went back.
But now they're bird people.
But now the main character is in 2 places at once, and he's also a bird. So the main character is a bird, and he's watching this happen. He's looking.
The third
he's
and
like hanging
fifth
out with
voice
himself.
in my head hurts.
That should be the name of your show. Voices in my head.
The third and fifth voice in my head hurts.
That's a Jeff Dunham show. Voices in my head.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
Come here, puppet boy. Oh, I can't. Stop.
Make your daddy talk.
Oh God.
But
rejected.
But main character becomes a bird and is looking at himself as a bird. And then he's like a kid on a beach later.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you watch the show and you're like, the hell if that made any sense.
Then you watch it backwards, still makes no sense.
I wouldn't watch it backwards. That would make my head
I tried.
That'd make my brain melt.
I tried because I saw a theory that if you watch it backwards, it makes sense. It doesn't.
That works with Haruhi.
At all.
The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, some of the episodes are... legitimately, they are out of order.
Yeah.
But that being said, if you watch it, it is backwards. The show is backwards. I haven't actually looked into that. Haruhi is a show that I would love to have on DVD, but don't. But after watching Air and seeing that the show makes no sense, after going online and trying my hardest to find someone who has explained the ending to Air adequately, nobody could, by the way, except for the reincarnation theory, which is the prolific theory online for the explanation of that show. I watched the OVA. I believe it has 2 OVAs and a compilation movie. I was expecting the movie to solve the problem. I didn't realize it was a compilation movie until I watched it. So you can imagine I was pissed. We'll also edit that out. You can imagine how angry I was when I popped in a compilation movie, not knowing it was a compilation movie, after watching the 2 OVAs and still not having any flippin' idea what's going on. The OVAs were more episodes dedicated to the people in the past that we don't care about.
More confusing.
It's literally like, hey, you know these people that we spent 3 episodes with? We're going to give you 2 more episodes of these people.
So 5 total.
5 total. God dang it. We're blowing the soundboard out of the water.
That's fine.
But yeah, no sense made.
No
sense
sense
made.
It's a mind.
Let's keep working our way backwards back onto topics. Kanon did that, where it had 2 series, and the second Kanon series is one of my top anime.
It didn't end with it all being a bad dream.
There are...
That's what I got out of it.
There are several different possibilities for what the ending meant.
Because the only 2 that I can really think of and grasp and hold on to is
Let's try not to spoil anything.
I'm not different realities, like 2 different timelines.
For Kanon?
The ending. Am I not thinking of the same one?
Short little girl.
Yes.
Yellow raincoat, angel wing backpack.
Okay, then no.
There's a blue-haired girl with a sword and bunny ears.
Yeah.
Actually, for the listeners at home, I am doing the
he's doing the bunny ears. Continue, because I'm thinking of something else.
I can pull up an image for you.
Oh no, it's fine. Go ahead. I will understand as you go.
All right. Well, what was I saying? You interrupt, the ending. There are several possible different theories for the ending. I would like not to spoil the ending.
It's past that point already.
I don't think we've said anything. Don't watch Air. That's the main thing I've been.
That's a mercy blow.
Do not watch Air.
We ruined Air Angel Beats. We talked about the ending.
We'll have to include a spoiler warning for Angel Beats.
No, it's past the limit.
Huh?
It's past the point of spoilers. You get 3 years.
I personally feel an anime should
we'll put
not
it in the
have
description.
put it in the description. Anime is unique in that people always come back to older animes. Yeah. Statute of limitations does not apply to anime. But that being said, don't watch Air.
For the love of God.
For the love of God, don't watch Air unless you want to accept the challenge that I'm laying down.
And then you're a fool.
I have not seen Clanad or Clanad After Story or any of the other 100 things associated with Clanad. I believe DK has.
That's what I was talking about.
Clanad. How do you feel about Clanad?
The ending is a mind freak. It will tug at all your heartstrings.
I love that.
That's the ending. That's the one where I was thinking that it was all a dream, or it was two different realities. This is how one ended, and this is how the other one ended. Frankly, I'd like to think it's all the dream, because any reality where it ended like that is just sad.
I mean, I want to see it.
Well, we could do a after watching.
You show me that, I'll show you Ruby.
I really don't.
Here's
I can't do the arc for Ruby.
Listeners. I have been trying my hardest to get DK to watch Ruby for the last 2 years.
I saw season 1.
He can't stand the art.
At all.
I don't blame him. Some people can't stand art like that. I do, however, advocate that the art gets so much better during the 4th season.
CG art throws me off.
They're only movies, essentially. Like, I have them on Blu-ray. I have Ruby on Blu-ray. For those who haven't caught on, my screen name on this podcast is Ozpin. I am a very, very adamant fan of Ruby. I would like to show you Ruby if you want to show me Clanad.
If we must.
This is my...
That's homework. I'm not watching Clanad again.
It is homework. You facilitate my watching of Clanad. I'll facilitate your watching of Ruby.
I'll watch it, but I work so much, so we'll get to it.
Yeah.
I do this
right.
and then work.
The only reason I'm bringing it up right now is because listeners, please send DK messages telling him to watch Ruby. Tell him
You're
Ruby
a demon.
is an awesome show.
You are a demon.
I'm all right with being a demon on this podcast.
Well, this is where I end it on you. Well, Nerdians, that's the end of this podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed.
This is Ozpin.
And this is DK.
And while that episode more or less lacked structure...
Completely.
Yeah.
Like a madman.
We started talking about Aesthetica, and we just stopped talking about Aesthetica. When you're like, you know what's better than Aesthetica? Guyver.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I started talking about Kanan, and we talked about Air for about 15 minutes.
Well, my Nerdians, we have a series of different things showing on this channel, including the podcast that we'll be trying to have out every Wednesday. Mondays, there's fun facts, and Fridays, there's a gameplay. It's between... Right now, it's just Metal Gear Solid, but at 5, the Phantom Pain, but later it will grow and be different, changing viewpoints from Ozpin playing, from me playing. It'll be many different things.
What are you wanting me to play? Dark Souls?
No, I don't want you to play Dark Souls. I want you
What's
to...
the other one? The other one. It's the other
Bloodborne.
one. Bloodborne.
And I want you to feel the pain.
I don't know if I want to feel the pain.
Okay, you can commentate on me feeling the pain, because I've actually never beat the game.
That I can do.
Later, Nerdians.
Have a good one.